Wait,
Okay.
are we live?
Hello,
Are we live?
everyone. Yeah, we are.
Oh, we are live. Hi! Hello, everyone! I don't know. Are you doing the intro? I guess I'm doing the intro. Wait, who's doing the intro, Feathers? Never hosted anything before. I
You
don't
can
know
do
how
it.
this works.
You can do it. Go ahead.
You got this. You got this.
Hi! Welcome to Project Illuminate's epidemiology lab. I'm sorry, Feathers, I built this in our basement. But hi! There's been an outbreak! Welcome to our lab! I've assembled some very qualified scientists who definitely don't have degrees in this, to solve this infection that's rapidly spreading amongst the server that we are in. But before we get started, let's learn a little bit about the people in this room. Starting with my lovely lab assistant, Feathers.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Project Illuminate. My name is Feathers. I'm the cutest devil in the world. And usually I would be hosting, but today we have a guest host, Twig. I will not be playing because I'll be handling the chat polls. I've already prepared the first question, but maybe I can play along. I'll try to play along to the best of my abilities without seeing the answer, but
It's kind of unfortunate because of the way that I did the PowerPoint. Next time I will probably just give you the questions. But thank you for your public service, Feathers. It is very charitable of you. I don't know who's next in the line.
Next up is Outer.
Oh, I thought you were gonna introduce me. Hello, everybody. My name is
Oh,
Outer.
sorry!
No, it's okay. It's cool.
Go.
Anything to say about yourself, Mr.
Okay.
Scientist Outer?
I love science. Do I remember things from science class? No. Do I like it? Yes. But
Yes.
again, my name is Outer. I'm a demon hunter, a co-host, not the main host. That is Feathers. But today we have Twig as main host.
Yay! Yay! Yes, very, very qualified indeed. And then we have Malphus.
Yes.
Question
Hi,
mark?
question mark.
Question
Yes,
mark? I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm sorry.
Yep. No, you got it right. You got it right.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. My name is Malphus. I'm a Cowboy Fallen Angel VTuber from Project Illuminate and the Western VTuber group. And just for the record, my degree may or may not be in history. That's not really important. I will try my best.
Yes, very qualified indeed. Very, very suitable lab assistant. What about you? Sadface. Name's hard. I'm also completely qualified for this position.
I'm Sadface. I am a person of many talents, and science is totally something I didn't almost fail in school.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm very mysterious as well, and that's probably just it.
Yes, probably the most qualified on this panel, actually.
Yep.
And then Squishy Rosie. Would you like to introduce
Hello.
yourself?
Yeah, hi, I'm Squishy Rosie. Fun fact about me is at first I was studying to be a gastroenterologist.
Wow.
Yeah, but it didn't work out. It didn't work out, guys. I also have a science joke to kick this off. If
Okay.
everyone wants to.
Oh my
Okay.
god.
It's terrible, but please laugh regardless. Thank you.
Okay.
Why did the scientist take out his doorbell?
Why?
He wanted to
Why?
win. He wanted to win the Nobel Prize.
Ooh.
That's pretty good. That is pretty
Okay,
good.
okay.
Thank
That's a
you.
pretty good one.
Very, very qualified. Much points to you. And then there's me. the least qualified on this panel. I am Twig. I have a YouTube channel, and I used to play this game that I'm about to explain. It pretty much every week, prepping for Science Olympiad. Yes, I was a nerd as a child. And now I'm subjecting you to my torture. So how does this game work, Twig? Well, I'm so glad you asked, nobody. We are going to go over cases that have been set aside as study materials by the CDC for Science Olympiad kids. So you guys are going to be going through high school level little quizzes, I guess. And it's just a silly little exercise. So basically what's gonna happen is I'm gonna take you through a case with a little bit of a story and a little bit of data, and I'm going to ask you multiple choice questions. And as we go, we're gonna figure out how these outbreaks started. Do any of you guys have any questions before we start?
The minute I thought I was done with high school, I just got dragged to the bathroom.
I'm ready to reawaken some high school trauma right now.
I got a C in chemistry.
Let's relive our
freaking
high school
go.
experiences.
I did bad in all my
welcome to
high
the
school
lab.
science classes.
Oh no.
I'm a B+ student in science.
We are all very qualified. Yes, we have established this. Welcome to the lab. The first, if we're getting into it, the first case that we have on our hands is Breathless in the Midwest, sourcing from Chicago. So, what's our case intel? You guys can see this, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be making notes.
The statistics so far. There are 15 people sick. There are 15 people hospitalized. There are 7 deaths currently, and it's located in the United States.
Ooh.
Got it?
USA!
USA! USA! Okay, what's your mission? A starting outbreak has been reported in Chicago and Milwaukee. Within the past 2 days, 15 people have visited emergency rooms complaining of high fever, fatigue, coughing, chest pain, and difficulty breathing. Several people have died and others are near death. Your help is needed to put an end to the outbreak. I am so glad all of you are so incredibly qualified to do this.
Now we got it.
Let's jump right in with our first clue, shall we? The first reported case is a 37-year-old musician from Chicago named Zeke. You start by talking to Zeke to find out what he was doing before he got sick. Zeke said that he started coughing and feeling very tired shortly after he led a music workshop for 50 students at a Chicago concert hall. He thought he might have picked something up from one of his students in class, or perhaps he caught it 2 days ago on a flight home from a vacation in Africa. Clue 2. You decide to ask Zeke more about his trip to Africa. You learn that Zeke and several of his friends took a trip to Mali last week, where while they were there, Zeke took a side trip to meet a drum maker who taught him how to make African drums made of animal skins and wood. I am so sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that. Zeke brought home 4 of the drums he helped make. Zeke and his friends returned home on the same 20-hour flight after talking with Zeke's friends. You learn that he is the only one with high fever, fatigue, cough, chest pain, and difficulty breathing. Where do you think Zeke caught whatever it is that made him sick? Discuss amongst yourselves.
Oh my god.
So he went on this trip to Mali with other people, but only he fell sick?
That means he didn't catch it there.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm thinking that it said that only he went to go see the drum guy. So it could have been that he did catch it there,
I
but
feel
he
like-
caught
I
it
feel
from the
like if
drum
it's-
guy.
But I feel like if like he was with his friends, then they would have caught it too.
Like if it was.
That's what I
Yeah.
was thinking, but like by the same logic, he had that music workshop with 50 people, so I feel like, well, actually,
Did did the friends take home drums as well, or was he the only one that brought home the 4 drums?
That's a good question. We don't
I
know.
Maybe he was the only one who brought back 4 drums.
Because if he's the only one in contact with those drums, I think then it can be the Africa one, even if his friends went, because he's the only one that has contact with the drums.
yeah,
If
I
that's
think,
the case.
I don't think it's
Yeah.
the music workshop, because if he caught it from someone at the music workshop, I feel like there would be a lot more than, I don't know, a lot more than 15 people.
And the other theory I have is it's like a plot twist where he sat next to someone who had a fever on the plane, and on the 20-hour flight he caught it.
Also, didn't it say there was like there was also an outbreak in like possibly a different area? Like near the beginning, it was like
Oh, it said it was in 2
Maui.
places, huh? I think it's
Yeah.
Milwaukee
It
and
was-
Chicago.
Yeah,
Milwaukee.
Chicago and Milwaukee.
Mhm.
teaching 50 students at once is bound to stress you to the point of compromising your immune system. That's true.
Yeah.
Well,
I think our consensus is that it's too soon to know for sure.
yeah.
Well, players, you are correct. It is too early to
Ooh.
know for sure, but Zeke remembered coughing and feeling very tired immediately after the class. Most colds, flus, and other viral infections take at least 1 day before symptoms are easily noticed. Keep investigating to find out. Round of applause for all of our very smart students in the class. Round of applause.
I don't know if my hand claps can render through. Hold on.
Yeah, nice.
Yay.
Okay.
Let's continue on with our investigation, shall we? Clue number 3. More cases of the mysterious illness are being reported in Chicago and Milwaukee hospitals. Lab results show that patients are infected with a bacterium that doctors suspect might be anthrax. You immediately send the samples to public health laboratories for testing, but that will take a couple of days. In the meantime, you need to talk with everyone who is sick and their families to find out what activities they participated in before becoming sick. When you look at the responses to your questions, it seems that many of the sick people participated in the same activities recently. Here is a picture of anthrax. I thought the CDC included them in the study guides. I thought the pictures were silly.
Oh, they look yummy.
Oh my god, this
Me
like
too.
give me a big clue.
Put
This is
those
a big
forbidden-
clue.
Put those
I
in my
see it and I
boba.
think forbidden gushers.
The forbidden jelly bean.
This just looks like lean boba.
Oh my god.
Bobaline.
This is
Boba.
Boba's
Okay, so let's talk about anthrax real quick. Anthrax is a serious disease caused by a type of bacteria known as Bacillus anthracus. Anthrax is not contagious. You cannot catch it from another person like you can catch the cold or flu. Anthrax can be found naturally in the soil and can infect domestic and wild animals like cattle, sheep, and goats. The animals become sick when they eat spores, germs, in contaminated soil or vegetations. People can get anthrax by handling products made with infected animals, breathing in anthrax spores from animal products, eating undercooked meat from infected animals, being exposed to anthrax spores by bioterrorists. Anthrax can also get into the body through the skin, lungs, or digestive system. Here is your 4th clue. You have already gotten information directly from the sick patients or family members of those who died. You interview 85 people who are not sick but participated in similar activities as those who are sick or died. In the outbreak investigations, we call these people the population at risk of getting sick. Each person was asked what they did in the 2 weeks before getting sick. The attack rate was calculated for each activity, and here is the silly little formula for attack rate. It is the people who are sick and the people who have participated in the activity and who are sick and the people who were just at the activity in total.
So basically just
So
like a
here are our
percentage
attack
for-
rates. I will give you a moment to look over the data because this is a graph. It is helpful to look over the data for a little bit. You guys can discuss as you do so.
Looks like the highest percent attack rate is for the music event in Chicago and the international flight.
Mm-hmm.
And the Milwaukee music event.
Any other thoughts?
It could be that maybe some sort of culture event was happening in both places, maybe. If there's a lot of like international flights as well. So maybe that could be a part of it.
The other thing that like really drew my attention was when you mentioned that anthrax can be caught from wild animals. The drum, the djembes, I think that's how you pronounce. I don't know. They're made from animal hide, which was what one of the clues said. And so, if he's taking that with him on the flight, I don't know if he's exposing that, especially at a music event. If he used that during the music event, it would definitely like expose more people to that.
It says there's 11
Interesting
sick
thought.
people. 11 sick people that
just-
work in or near a government building.
That is true. That's good to notice. Interesting thoughts, players. Let's continue on with our investigation. What would you do next as the people heralding this case? Would you recheck the data to see if there's one activity or exposure that all sick people have in common? Or would you interview workers in every government building in Milwaukee and Chicago?
Oh, that's hard. Okay.
Well,
Probably.
I paraphrased the questions in the poll because there's a character limit, but
You are fine.
you guys can
Feathers.
see on screen.
Oh, okay. I mean, there was a high like rate of government workers getting sick.
Mm-hmm.
I would say with the one activity, like if they all played an instrument with animal hide involved.
I mean,
because what I was thinking, since it would probably maybe the best option would be to recheck the data to see if there's like a common factor there, because the people in the government building are probably going other places outside of work, obviously. So there might be some activity they all have in common there.
I mean, it could also be related to like the international flight stuff, because like of course there's gonna be people bringing stuff from other countries that could contain animal products. So maybe the like government workers were going outside the country.
But didn't they, to get this like information, they would have already had to interview all the people that are working in the government to get this data anyways. So it won't be helpful to know that information. Again.
Every government building is a lot of buildings.
Yeah.
Because
I don't think they interviewed every like government worker.
Because like government workers,
people who were involved with the case and like the suspected like activities that people were doing.
Because it might be irrelevant to do that, and still, it'll like be a waste of resources.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it would be best if we just recheck the activities that people did. Like we already know that they went to the like they were there during the whole event, but we don't know what they did specifically to group them up as to how.
Final answer, A.
I'd say
Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
Okay. Congratulations! You are all very
Ooh,
qualified
yeah,
epidemiologists.
yeah.
It looks like all of the people who are sick attended a music event in Chicago. You may be onto something, but what about the high number of sick people who work in or near a government building? Is that also something to worry about? We shall see.
Nah, they'll be
So,
alright.
clue number 5. With the large number of government workers who are sick, you decide to look into it more. Police reports show that there was a bioterrorism threat 3 days before Zeke and the others got sick. A former government employee threatened to mail anthrax to his old office building in downtown Chicago. You interview the two sick people from Milwaukee to find that neither of them had been in or around any government building in Chicago in the 2 weeks before getting sick. Is it a bioterrorist attack? Yes or no?
Oh my god.
I would say
I mean-
yes.
I mean, if there was a threat about it, like in Chicago, and the two people from Milwaukee were not around any government buildings, it could be that the attack happened at the music festival.
I was gonna say, I don't think there's enough information to really say if it was a bioterrorist attack or
Wait,
not.
it said meld, right?
Could we get
Yeah.
a Can we look at the previous slide again?
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to read that clue again.
'Cause if you
With
said
the large
meld,
number of government workers who are sick, you decide to look into it more. Police reports show that there was a bioterrorism threat 3 days before Zeke and the others got sick. A former government employee threatened to mail anthrax to his old office building in downtown Chicago. You interview the two sick people from Milwaukee to find that neither of them had been in or around any government building in Chicago in the 2 weeks before getting sick.
I still feel like we
Wait,
need more
threat.
evidence.
Wait, threat, so that doesn't mean it's committed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there was a police report about it, and not a police report. I'm assuming not a police report about,
Like an actual attack happening.
yeah.
Right.
It was known as a
We
threat.
do not know yet if
Hmm.
there is confirmation of whether or not it actually happened.
I would say no on this.
I would say no, just because the two people that were interviewed were not found near them, and you would need evidence to say yes. So just because it can't be a yes, it would have to be no for now.
Yeah.
Final answer?
B.
Okay. Congratulations, you are all so smart. I'm so proud of you. We need more evidence and
I
lab
knew
tests
it.
before we can determine if this is a bioterrorism threat. Is it a real or a hoax? There are sick people 100 miles away near Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And remember, those sick people told you they had not been in or near the government buildings in Chicago. So, clue number 6. The bioterror threat was a hoax. Meanwhile, the results of the blood tests you sent to the public health labs indicate a need for further testing. So you send them away to special labs at the CDC. The results from the labs show Bacillus anthracus, the bacteria that causes anthrax. Based on this finding and the patient's symptoms, the doctors diagnosed each patient with inhalation anthrax. You tell all of the patients to begin treatment immediately, but if it's anthrax after all, does that mean the police missed something? Question mark. Here is the graph for attack rates again, just to refresh your memory. Because yeah, it's something that you would refer back to. If a person breathes in anthrax, they can get inhalation anthrax. When anthrax germs are inside your body, they can start to grow and multiply. This could happen quickly or it could take a long time. After the anthrax starts to grow, it releases toxins or poisons that will attack your body and make you sicker and sicker. Early symptoms of inhalation anthrax are much like symptoms of the flu: fevers and chills, coughs, nausea, and vomiting. Anthrax spores in a person's body typically take 1 to 6 days to be quote-unquote activated to start releasing their toxins. But some spores can take more than a month before they do so. What do you think started the outbreak? A release of anthrax at the music event, or a person at the workshop had contracted anthrax and was still contagious?
Oh my god. This is like literally confirming my theory though.
I don't think it could be contagious because you said it can't be transferred body to body.
It's not that.
So if it's... Hold on, wait. My bad. I'll let you go. Hold on.
And I'm just saying, the drums, they could have spores on the drums, and he's breathing them in at the music event where he probably he brought back the drums.
You read my mind. I was gonna say that, you know, as you're playing the drums, you know, you're heavy breathing, and you're like, oh, whoo, drumming away, whoo, you know, and you're breathing that in.
Mm-hmm. Also, people who were near those drums as well.
That
too.
Mm-hmm.
Some guy could have probably been close. We're like, oh, look at you go, yeah, whoo, look at me go, whoo.
So, final answer A?
Yeah.
Okay, you all are incredibly smart and incredibly talented.
Yeah!
Remember, anthrax can't be passed from one person to another the way the cold or flu can be. It's more likely that someone or something at the music event had been contaminated with anthrax. Congratulations, you are all so cool. So, clue number 8. You talk to Zeke again. He remembers the drum maker in Mali was coughing and having trouble taking breath. Similar to the symptoms of all the sick people from the music workshop. Zeke also tells you that during the workshop in Chicago, he demonstrated how to make a drum using goat skins he brought back from Africa. You decide to go back to the other participants at the workshop to ask about it. Interestingly, most of the sick people report that while Zeke was showing them how to make the drum, they noticed a large amount of dust and particles flowing in the air. Anthrax used to be called wool sorter's disease and was considered a common risk for workers in wool mills, slaughterhouses, and factories that processed animal hides, hair, and bone. Anthrax is rare in the United States, but outbreaks do occur in wild and domestic animals. How do you think the anthrax got into the music workshop?
Oh my god.
Spores were on Zeke's clothes, which he'd worn in Mali, or spores were on the drums and the goat skins that Zeke brought back from Mali.
Drums.
Yeah, drums.
Drums.
Rosie, when you had that theory, I was like, God fucking damn it, I'm fucked.
I'm sorry.
I was like, wow, I have no chance of deceiving them on this one. That's fine. This is like the tutorial mode. But yes! You conduct tests of the drums Zeke played and the goat skins he used to make the drums at the workshop. They were contaminated with anthrax spores. When the drums and skins were shown to Zeke's workshop, spores were released into the air. People who came closest to the drums and skins breathed into the spores, making them sick. The drums and the goat hides he brought back from Mali were not treated effectively with chemicals to kill anthrax spores. Zeke also did not report the goat skins he brought back from Africa to Customs and Border Protection. Because of this, when he returned to the US, it wasn't verified that they had been properly treated to kill anthrax spores.
Ooh.
That was my question, because like how could you bring that back without reporting it? Because it's not allowed to bring like animal skins back without it being declared like non-infectious.
Dang.
Congratulations. You are all very smart, very qualified detectives. Congratulations on completing your training.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go, we did it.
I can solve outbreaks now. Let's go.
Oh.
You are an epidemiologist. No.
Can I make a suggestion for if we do this again some other stream? You should you should replace the names in these with people in PI.
Oh my god, that would be amazing.
That would be funny. Okay.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. Our next case, because there is no time to waste, there is always disease everywhere. It will find you somehow. Conference Blues is the name of this case. We're going to Georgia for a conference.
Yeah.
Oh my.
There are 37 people sick, 5 hospitalization, and only 1 dead. It is in the US, but it's spread to 5 different states.
Dang.
Oh, this one might be a little bit more of a serious, maybe.
I mean, there's less people dead in this one than there were in the anthrax
Only
one.
one.
I mean, that could have.
There's only one person dead.
Only one.
It was just one dude.
The Georgia State Veterinarian Conference just ended. Dozens of people got sick at the conference, complaining of severe stomach cramps, diarrhea, and fever. The conference coordinator called the state health department to report that several participants are sick and 2 have been hospitalized. You have been called in to help. They saw your performance on the last investigation and they were like, let's send in these guys. These guys are the ones. Okay. Clue number 1. You call the event coordinator and ask for a schedule of events and a list of conference attendees. The coordinator also gives you contact information for the 15 people she knows who are sick so far. You begin by attempting to call each sick person to interview them and ask about their symptoms. When they first became sick, which events they attended at the conference, and what they ate and drank while at the conference. And if they know of others who are sick. Since you don't have any lab results yet, you need other information to come up with a hypothesis about what is making people sick and what these people have in common. You succeed in reaching 10 out of the 15 people. 5 people were bitches and didn't respond. To better understand how the attendees got sick, you ask about the activities in which they participated since arriving in the conference. You also ask about the foods, drinks consumed, as well as other activities that might put them at risk. You study the data to see what the sick people have in common. And here is your graph of the
oh my god! If there's a poll on like which one, it'll be such a surprise which one I'll choose.
When were the attendees exposed to something that made them sick? At the welcome party or the opening session?
It was the welcome party.
This is so difficult to pick.
What could it possibly be?
Wait a minute.
Guys, I didn't see that many people get sick at the welcome party.
Wait, no. Wait, hold on.
Are you thinking this is like a reverse whammy and they're like trying to trick you?
No, because I was like, welcome party, but I was like, what if it's not?
Let's look at the graph again.
There is one life at stake, Outer. Exactly one.
Didn't they already die?
Yeah, they already did.
So it doesn't matter now. It doesn't matter.
Oh,
Okay.
here's my logic, because if the chart said the welcome party at the most, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, because if it's something like diarrhea and cramps and stuff, then that stuff spreads very easily when everybody's in a tight space like that.
Yep.
So I was thinking at the welcome party.
So, you are correct. By no, like, small surprise. You are trying to come up with a hypothesis since lab results aren't back yet. You suspect the welcome party is to blame since all 10 of the people who are sick attended the function, but you need to investigate more to confirm or refute your suspicion. So, clue number 2. The good news is most of the people who are sick are starting to get better. In talking with a few of the attendees, you learn that most of them met a lot of new people at the welcome party, shook hands, and ate some food. Based on what they have told you about the party, you suspect something the participants ate at the welcoming party is causing everyone to be sick. However, in order to be certain, you'll need to interview as many of the conference attendees as possible. The conference organizer tells you the food at the welcome party was prepared by a local caterer. You request a copy of the menu served at the welcoming party in order to develop a listing of items to which participants may have been exposed. During your initial 10 interviews, you asked about attendee participation in various conference events as well as food items they ate during conference events. Using the information gathered from the interviews along with the welcome party menu, you create a standard questionnaire that you use to interview as many of the 75 conference attendees as possible. You make sure to ask clear, detailed questions about any items you suspect. By interviewing most of the 75 conference attendees, again, 5 didn't respond because they're bitches, you learn that at least 25 people are sick, including your 10 initial interviewees. A few individuals began feeling ill on Monday, with many more reporting symptoms on Tuesday and Wednesday. You don't have a lab to have test results yet, so you define a sick person as someone who attended the conference and began having diarrhea anytime between January 29th through February 5th. Here is the curve of the number of people who are sick over the dates.
Ooh, interesting.
Here are the food attack rates.
Bro, what is in that spinach dip? The lasagna also looking.
Cause what?
Not the chicken tendies.
I'm not even as worried about the chicken tendy. Like, what did you put in that dip, bro? It's 82% attack rate.
I don't know. The veggie lasagna is also concerning with the 50% attack rate.
For sure, for sure.
Must be the...
Okay. Here's the relative risk of each food item.
Dang.
God,
spinach dip is so good though.
That's pretty high. Holy.
Looks like nobody wanted the meatballs, I'm not gonna lie.
No, that's the risk. Some people, there were how many?
There were only, yeah, but like I feel like nobody ate them in general that much. They were just like
32 people ate the meatballs. Don't clown on the meatballs, okay? The meatballs are just safe. Just because they're not making you sick doesn't mean.
Personally,
you're
I also would have gone for the spinach dip.
Yeah, same. Thank you. I think you're right.
The two things with the highest attack rate for me are like the 2 vegetarian
I would
items,
be
so I'm
barfing
just
my brains out.
Yeah. No, you're right. I'm projecting.
Okay.
It's just me who wouldn't want the meatballs.
Would it have to be like? Are they gonna have to recall
were the
their
attendees
spinach dip?
exposed to something that made them sick? Spinach dip or more than one of the food items?
It looked like
I'll
it
say
was
B
one.
because the like veggie like lasagna was also
Oh.
really
Ooh.
Oh. Ooh.
So, you're cutting in and out.
I think it has to be more than one because veggie lasagna and spinach dip are very, very high.
Yeah, it has to be more than one.
Yeah.
Also, it's over several days, so they could have had like one thing one day, one thing another day, and it'll still be both of them.
Right, it was like at the welcome party, so which I think.
Oh, true.
But I'm thinking that the lasagna, since it was veggie lasagna, might have had some spinach in there.
Ooh.
Or it's like the or could be. Oh yeah, true.
Right. Holy. Oh my God. You're big brain. Holy.
What is the thing for the vegetables that like it keeps? Is it like E. coli or something like that?
I remember there was like that romaine lettuce thing a while back.
Yeah, because I know with fruit recently there was like unwashed fruit can have E. coli. I think it's the same thing with greens.
Can someone run me what E. coli is again?
It's like a bacteria that is very bad.
Oh, okay.
It gives
Surprise! You were both right. Everyone was right on this question. There was no wrong answer.
Right.
Oh wait, what?
The attack rates and relative risks for the spinach dip and veggie lasagna are very suspicious. Perhaps there's a common ingredient in these two dishes.
Oh, what I say?
That is plain.
Let's go, Feathers.
Keep working to solve the outbreak.
Big brain
Okay.
feathers.
E. coli. I see E. coli. Okay, sorry.
Clue number 4. Initial laboratory results are back and show that the outbreak is likely due to E. coli 0157. The state health department has to confirm the results in the lab. In the meantime, you ask the caterer for a list of the recipes from the welcome party and review the ingredients. You notice that the two dishes with the highest relative risks, the spinach dip and the veggie lasagna, both had raw leaves added as a garnish after the dishes were cooked. No other dishes used raw spinach, and there were no other common ingredients besides these two dishes. You immediately contact the FDA and tell them about your suspicions that raw spinach could be the source of the outbreak. You don't have any time to waste, so you go visit the caterer. Luckily, you find some unopened bags of fresh spinach that were purchased at the same time as those who used to prepare the food for the welcome party. Since the spinach is still in the bag, the FDA is able to trace the lot numbers for this product to find out where it was grown and bagged. Here is a picture of E. coli.
Nasty.
Those do look pretty
On,
nasty.
It's much.
Do we rate it above or below the anthrax?
Definitely below.
Yeah.
Below? It doesn't look as good?
No, it does not.
It looks like gummy worms, but I don't know.
No. I would rather take the lean boba over this.
Yeah.
They look like gummy worms made of human skin.
Okay, so here's
Right.
your answer, Outer, to your question about E. coli.
Mm-hmm.
Escherichia coli, abbreviated as E. coli because no one knows how to pronounce that, are bacteria found in the environment, foods, and intestines of people and animals. Most E. coli are harmless and actually are important as a part of a healthy and human intestinal tract. Think gut biome. However, some are pathogenic, meaning they can cause illness, either diarrhea or illness outside of the intestinal tract. The types of E. coli that can cause diarrhea can be transmitted through contaminated water, food, through contact with animals or their environment, or when infected people do not wash their hands well after going to the bathroom and the bacteria gets from their hands into someone else's mouth. Please, for the love of God, wash your hands.
I can hear Gordon
my
Ramsay
God.
screaming. I can hear Gordon Ramsay like screaming at someone like, "You idiot!"
What are
The amount of the side note, the amount of the cases in this like study resource that I got that just boil down to literally just wash your hands, interact with animals safely. I swear to God.
Yeah.
Okay, The best way to protect yourself from an E. coli infection is to wash your hands properly after using the bathroom or changing diapers before preparing or eating food. You should also wash your hands after contact with animals or their environments at farms, petting zoos, fairs, or even your own backyard. This is important even if the animals appear healthy because they can still be shedding germs that can make you sick. Cook meats thoroughly. Ground beef and meats that have been needle tenderized should be cooked to a temperature of at least 160 Fahrenheit, 70 degrees Celsius for you Europeans. It's best to use a thermometer, as color is not a very reliable indicator of doneness. Avoid raw milk. I know you fucking TikTok influencers are going to have your panties in a twist. Unpasteurized dairy products like raw milk and soft cheeses and unpasteurized juices can expose you to E. coli infections. Avoid swallowing water when swimming or playing in lakes, ponds, streams, swimming pools, and backyard quote-unquote kiddie pools. You don't know who pissed in the pool. Please protect yourself.
Or when number 2.
Dude, I love going swimming in the lake and just opening my
preparation
mouth.
areas by thoroughly washing hands, counters, cutting boards, and utensils after you touch raw meat. Okay? We're all using common sense now. Okay. What would you do next in the investigation? Test leftover spinach for E. coli and contact the spinach producer, or tell the chef to wash their damn hands?
Tell them to wash their damn hands. No.
Both of these.
Didn't we already test the spinach?
I would say
We have to test
Well,
the
it's-
leftover spinach.
Yeah, I mean, technically it's
Well,
not, it doesn't, I don't think it's the chef's fault.
Yeah, because there could also
Because
be
then all the food,
contamination.
yeah, all the food would be infected if it was the chef's fault.
All right.
Yeah, we have to find out if there was cross contamination as well.
Oh, I guess some people got sick from eating the other food.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it probably was cross contamination.
Yeah, because they
Probably.
also were handling raw meats as well. So
Mm-hmm.
I vote both
Final answer.
options.
Both options? You have to choose one.
Have to wash their goddamn
If I had to pick one, I'd go A.
Yeah, it's definitely an A for sure.
The answer with more words. That one.
It's always the correct answer on like every test.
It really is.
Okay. Yes, you are correct. You have spared the chef from verbal abuse. As you wait for the results, it's a good idea for you to jointly work with the food FDA to contact the spinach producer and inform them about the investigation. Before you can determine if the spinach is contaminated, you need to rule out things like cross-contamination in the kitchen while the food was being prepared, as well as the possibility that someone who was sick prepared the food. This is why you wait like a couple of weeks until after you're sick to prepare food for someone else, because you can get other people sick. Even if you don't feel sick, you can still be germy. It is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
The results from the state health department are in. The bacterial testing shows the sick people are in fact infected with E. coli. The state public health laboratory sends the DNA quote-unquote fingerprints to PulseNet, a national network of state and local public health laboratories and federal food regulatory laboratories. PulseNet scientists at the CDC headquarters in Atlanta compare fingertips of this strain of E. coli with the DNA fingerprints in the database and find that this particular strain is indistinguishable from that of 12 other cases that have been reported across the country in the last few weeks. You also discover that the strain has never been reported to PulseNet before now. In fact, there are already there's already another ongoing investigation of these 12 sick people. You learn from the EIS officer at CDC headquarters that they are already investigating this outbreak. They also tell you that 3 additional people have been hospitalized and 1 person has died in total. 37 people are infected with the outbreak strain from 5 different states. 25 people were infected during the conference in Georgia, and another 12 people are spread across the country. Wash your hands. No, not actually. This isn't an issue of wash your hands, but wash your hands, okay?
I was gonna say, don't wash my hands.
What should you do next? Shut down the production facility when the spinach was packaged, or determine if the 12 people also ate the spinach?
I say determine if like they
I'd say
like
shut
actually
down.
ate the spinach.
Utter wants to shut it down. He's like,
Shut
"Y'all
everything
are
down."
infecting people.
Yeah.
Shut it
No
down.
second chances.
Yeah, I was
No
gonna say,
second chances. Close your doors."
I'd say shut down because we already tested it, right? So it's got E. coli in it, probably. So
Well, we gotta make sure that it definitely was the spinach before
Yeah,
we shut
I'm
them
gonna-
down.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say the opposite because we need to know if the other people who are sick also ate the spinach. Because we don't know like exactly where it originated from, right? Because there's a lot of steps. There's from like the farm. I'm sure there's a distribution center or a different kind of packaging area. And we would have to like track that. So we'd have to do B.
okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Look, it could be that
shutting
they all
down.
didn't. It also
Outer,
could be
you can by your lonesome go and shut down the facility.
You're like, I'm the
Yeah.
FDA.
I'm
Open
gonna
up.
walk in there and be like, this place is shut down. Like, who is this guy?
I'm from the CDC. Shut your facility down. We're investigating. No.
Security.
So Outer unfortunately was wrong and he got arrested and thrown back to the CDC for training. But the rest of you were correct and very qualified as epidemiologists. The next thing you need to do is talk to 12 additional people who are sick in other states and find out if they ate spinach. If so, then we'll need to track down the point of contamination. And that could be anywhere from the field to the packaging plant to the distribution center, like Rosie said. Rosie, I think you are probably the most qualified in this whole
I'm so
experience.
sorry.
It's fine. This is about learning the processes of like how diseases are investigated and stuff. The initial interviews from the state and local investigators reveal 11 of the 12 other sick people ate spinach too. To find out if these people are the same brand of spinach as those at the conference, you need to review the data collected during all of the interviews. In the meantime, FDA visits the production facility where the spinach was used at the conference. The event is cleaned and bagged. During the visit, FDA officials and Outer look at the possible points of contamination, such as dirty wash water, sick employees, handling of the spinach, or other problems. However, no likely points of the contamination are found. The FDA decides to visit the spinach farm. Now, this is a quote-unquote field investigation. See the pun?
Oh.
I'm
Ha
Yeah.
Hee hee ha ha.
Okay, you don't have to humor me. You review data collected from interviews with each of the 11 additional sick people to find out if they ate the same brand of spinach that made conference attendees sick. You want to learn more about when and where they might have eaten it. Based on your data review, you discover all of the people who are sick ate the same brand of spinach as the attendees from the conference. Fortunately, 2 of the individuals still have some of the spinach, so you collect the spinach to check the lot number and test it for the strand of E. coli we have. Sorry. Not only do the lot numbers match the bags of the spinach from the conference center, but the lab testing of these new bags of spinach finds that they were also contaminated with the strand.
Ooh.
During the visit to the spinach farm, the farm manager is interviewed so the data can be collected about the farm and its operations. The spinach farm is next to a creek. Across from the creek, about a quarter-mile away, there is a farm with 300 cows. The pastures in the cows graze in is a very hilly area that is on higher ground. There is a well-maintained fence to keep the cows out of the fields and away from the creek. The spinach farmer reports that he uses treated well water for his crops, but there's recently been some flooding in parts of the fields due to recent heavy rains. What do you think caused the outbreak? The cows ate the contaminated spinach, or the flooding washed the cows' waste into the spinach field? I will let Outer answer this question because he's the one who was like, I'm shutting down the facility. Only Outer can answer this.
I was joking on that, but I carried on with it. But I would say, am I out of jail? By the way, am I out of prison?
You're out of jail.
Okay, cool. All right. I would say
they pulled you out of jail so that you could investigate with them because you were nosy.
I'll be back. The flooding washes the cow's waste. I would say that.
Well, Outer, your hunch is correct.
There's doo-doo in the spinach.
Oh, we
there
all
is
eat it.
doo-doo in the spinach, and the cows didn't wash their hands.
Not the kitty poo
The
water
cattle
got
have
into
been
it.
grazing in the pasture across the stream, uphill from the spinach farm. Cow manure is collected and tests positive for the outbreak strain of E. coli. Floods from the rain most likely washed the cow's waste onto the plants closest to the stream, which explains why only one lot was infected. The cows are therefore the likely source of the contamination.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Outer. You were the last missing piece to solve this case. Thanks to the hard work conducted by you all, the State Department and the FDA, the affected lots were located, recalled, potentially preventing many more people from getting sick. Additionally, the spinach farmer will make changes to improve drainage and keep the spinach safe in the future. Your quick thinking and keen detective skills were the key to solving this outbreak. Can you imagine doing this every time the FDA has a recall? Like, this is the process that they go through. This is directly from the CDC's like study materials. This is like kind of their steps that they like are telling Science Olympiad kids. Yeah, this is the process of an investigation.
Damn, we gotta tell the sick people now, ma'am, sir, you ate doo-doo spinach.
They won't say that.
Those people at the conference. Rosie, maybe you should have eaten the meatballs.
Everybody, you all ate dookie spinach.
Oh my god. No.
Okay.
Okay.
Are you all ready for the final investigation?
Yes.
No,
I'm ready to go to jail again.
Pop off, but I enjoyed this. Good luck for the last one.
Alright.
Thank you
see
for
ya.
aiding us, Rosie. You are all without your MVP.
You'll be fine. I
And
impart
it
my
must be
wisdom.
the hardest investigation. We're going overseas for this one.
Let's go.
Oh god.
You can do it. I believe in you.
Alphabet soup.
Ooh.
I love alphabet.
Are we ready?
Alphabet soup.
Yes.
Today we're going to Luxembourg for the case called Alphabet Soup. There are 3,525
God.
people
Oh
sick,
my god.
749 hospitalizations, and 10 deaths. Welcome to
Well,
epidemiology.
Well, isn't this a pandemic? Or epidemic?
No, a
something like that.
pandemic.
I know
Okay, so
there's like 2 different names for it, and I forgot.
I
the
will
other
tell
name.
you,
It was like small one.
this
and there's
is-
a big one.
this is an outbreak. It's not a pandemic, because what happens is when a pandemic spreads to different continents and countries, that's when it's a pandemic. This is still contained in Luxembourg.
Luxembourg is Sweden? Or...
It is its own country,
Oh.
I think.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's like this really
It is a
tiny
small
country in Europe. Like,
Mm.
I think it's sandwiched between like Austria and like I don't remember the other country.
Okay. It borders Germany. Thank you, Fadewell. Your mission. There is a mysterious outbreak in a small country in the northwestern part of Europe. It's spring and several people have been admitted into the local hospital with pneumonia and flu-like symptoms, high fever, muscle aches, headache, and dizziness. During the same time, a general practitioner from a rural village reported an increase in pneumonia cases among patients in his community. It's not clear what the outbreak is and how it's spreading. That's your job!
Oh no.
Yay!
Yeah.
Here's your first clue, gamers. It is late spring and 39-year-old history professor named Dieter has been enjoying the spring weather by reading outside, taking long hikes, and going on bike rides through the countryside, zipping past local farms and beautiful scenery. In early June, Dieter came down with a high fever, headache, and cough. Dieter went off to the doctor and was diagnosed with a viral illness and was told to go home, drink plenty of fluids, and get some rest. Over the next few days, Dieter's symptoms continued to get worse. He was admitted to a local hospital where he received a chest x-ray and was diagnosed with pneumonia. Dieter was placed on antibiotics, which didn't seem to make him feel any better, unfortunately. Dieter is not the only one who is sick. Okay? While reviewing Dieter's charts, the local hospital doctor notices that Dieter is one of 6 patients admitted to the hospital in the last few weeks. All had similar symptoms and none have improved after receiving antibiotics. One of the other patients, Fiona, is a stay-at-home mom who lives in a small cattle ranch and who was pregnant while she was admitted. After 5 days with a high fever, Fiona had a miscarriage. Blood tests ruled out the most common infectious causes of miscarriage. The doctor calls the local Department of Public Health only to learn that Dieter and Fiona are not the only people who are sick. There is a much larger outbreak happening. The local Department of Public Health tells you that there are 19 people who have similar symptoms sick in the city of Maddox, including 6 patients in your own hospital. 5 people are sick in and around Gallenberg. This brings the total number of people who are sick to 24. Most of the sick are adults, though there are 3 patients under the age of 19. The people seem to be of different ages, have different careers, live in different regions, and even have different diagnoses. You need to figure out how these people are connected, what is causing this outbreak, and how the outbreak is spreading. How are we feeling, gamers? Do you think we can do this? I think you can do this.
Yeah, I believe so.
So, here is our graph of the group of locations, occupations, diagnoses, male, female, and age groups. I feel really bad for that 9-year-old kid.
Damn.
The local health department has begun to collect data on the number of sick people so far. Many people have similar symptoms, but the diagnoses are all different. You decide to chart the date that people first became sick in an epicurve, which is an epidemic curve, to see if you can see a trend in the data. And here is your epicurve. Okay, we got this? Cool. While it's still early, it appears that this outbreak is a point source outbreak. What is a point source outbreak? When do people come into contact with the common source in a point source outbreak? So, point source refers to the time that someone comes into contact with an outbreak. What do you think it is? Is it a long period of time or is it a short period of time?
Can we look at the? Can we look at like the graph again? The one before.
Yeah.
So this takes place over about what, 2 weeks? A week or two?
Yeah, I
Week
say
and a
a short one. It'd be.
Yeah, I would say a short. Wait, I forgot to post the poll. Hold on, don't show the answer yet.
No answering. You don't get to answer.
I will say from the data, like it could be like the most common people getting sick is like in their middle ages and foreigners, kind of, because that's like the majority in like the data that was shown.
I'm also thinking this is like, yeah, this sounds pretty serious. So if there hasn't been like a definitive answer already, then like of what the illness is, then it's probably hasn't been that long. I would vote for B.
B? Is that all of you guys' answer?
Yeah, I'll vote for that.
Yeah, it's B.
Okay. Yes. Oh, it says A, but it was B. Neither are correct. No. In a point source outbreak, people who come into contact with the source of the outbreak for a short time, the number of cases increase rapidly and falls slowly, with most of the cases happening around the same time. So, it is a short time, and it increases rapidly and falls off.
I say just like a little guess, but I think they like most of the people must have had come in contact with maybe like a farm or something like that. Maybe.
Also, chat, I apologize for typos in the or weird spacing in the poll. I'm like copy pasting some of it, and it
it's like weird.
It doesn't process the line breaks.
Yeah, you're good. I appreciate you, Feathers. You're not sure what's causing the outbreak. Fiona has been sick for 2 weeks and can't shake off the fever or night sweats. She is also one of 3 people who are now suffering from photophobia, eye sensitivity to light, pain in muscles and joints, and difficulty sleeping. You also don't know how the sickness is being spread, as there are multiple people in one family who are sick, but in other households, only one person in the family is sick. You aren't sure if the illness is contagious. Since Fiona is one of 6 people who live on a farm, you decide to ask all of the sick people what kinds of animals they've come into contact with lately. The local public health department interviews all of the people who are sick and finds that while a fair number of people had contact with household pets and farm animals, however, 57.7% of people sick did not have any contact with animals. During your local interviews, you learned that a local veterinarian was called out to a local goat farm about a month ago because of an abortion storm. An episode in which several pregnant goats miscarry at the same time. You find that 7.7% of the people who are sick had contact with an animal that had recently given birth or had an abortion. Here is your graph.
That is very tiny.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Looks like the goats.
Sheep.
But it says other animal. They have contact with other animals.
60% is quite a significant amount, though, with the no contact. But I guess this is a pretty small country, so
it could be that the disease is contagious if some people didn't have like any contact with animals.
Based on the data, how do you think the outbreak is spreading? Human to human or animals?
I'm thinking human.
Argue.
Yeah,
Fight each other.
I'm saying human to human because if there's 50% of people who had no contact, that means the people who did have contact are starting to like spread it to people.
Yeah, I mean,
weren't in farms or any animal.
how would you get it from an animal if you weren't around animals?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
A.
A.
Yeah.
A.
It would have to be
Everyone? A?
Yeah.
A.
You're all wrong!
Oh.
What?
Oh! What? Oh, bait
Too
and
soon
switch.
to tell
it's
what's
too
causing this
soon.
outbreak. Even though around 58% of the people did not have contact with an animal, you can't rule animals out just yet. Especially since you just learned about the abortion storm, which lines up with the miscarriage that happened earlier. Keep investigating to find out what's causing the outbreak. What did we learn? Don't
Well, I
trust
mean,
anything.
Yeah, that is true. It said no contact, but we need to know
Right.
as of what
There
they were
are
in contact
more
with.
than 50 cases of sick people, and the numbers keep rising every day. You haven't figured out what's making everyone sick or how it's spreading. Although nearly 58% of the sick haven't had any contact with the animals, you decide to follow up on the tip about the goat farm where there was an abortion storm a few weeks ago. Herman, the owner of the farm, says he has about 1,000 goats, which produce milk and cheeses, which he sells throughout the region, including the local farmers market in the last 2 months. 35 pregnant goats on his farm have been aborted, and Herman said his farm is not the only farm to have a recent abortion storm.
Wait,
You asked Herman about the abortion storm, as this can be a sign of infection with a bacteria called Coxella burnellti, which causes a disease called Q fever. Sheep, goats, and cattle are the animals which typically spread Q fever to people. The bacteria that causes Q fever are shed in the bodily fluids, including reproductive materials of infected animals. Herman mentions that 3 other local farms have also had recent abortion storms. He also tells you that he and his oldest son have had flu-like symptoms about a month ago. They never went to the doctor, and they feel better after about a week. The other family members never felt sick. You begin to wonder if their sickness could be part of the same outbreak you're investigating. Here is a picture of Q fever. So, we got anthrax, we got E. coli. Where is Q fever on the
Low.
rating?
That is low. That is in the
this
bottom of
this
the
looks like
list.
after I was drawing with pencil for a while and smudged my finger on the paper.
Is
This
it
does not look
below E.
appetizing.
coli?
Yeah.
Yes.
It is below E. coli.
I don't like it. It doesn't look appealing.
It could
Q
be.
fever or Coxiella burntelli, the bacteria which causes Q fever, is usually shed in animals' reproductive fluids, which are milk products and manure. It is very handy and can survive. It's very hardy, sorry, not handy. And can survive in the environment for long periods and can be spread over long distances by the wind. Many people who get Q fever will never have symptoms. Others will get a bad flu-like illness, which will eventually fade. A small percentage of people will develop severe symptoms or chronic infection. Those with heart conditions are at most risk of developing major complications, and women who are infected during a pregnancy are at risk of miscarriages. So, I don't know what you can do to protect yourself from Q fever, but what are we doing next? Test the goats or quarantine the goats?
Because
I
you have
think
to
both
be
of
sure that the
I think both of those things.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think both.
Or actually, I mean,
Yeah.
you
Or is
gotta
it
see
only
which.
one?
you'd want to see which goats have it before you quarantine all the goats together. Just in case it
Yeah,
can.
you have to like make sure, like, if they even have the bacteria, if they even have the bacteria in the first place.
Yeah, you also wouldn't want to put the sick goats together with the healthy goats.
Feathers is learning. You all are learning the process of the CDC. Yes, you are going to test the goats for bacterium. Testing the goats is the right answer before you decide to take additional actions such as quarantining the goats or warning the public. You first need to be certain what's causing this outbreak. Okay. After testing the goats on Herman's farm and 3 other farms that recently had abortion storms, you discover the goats on these farms are infected with Q fever. Widespread testing of nearby farms reveal that several farms in the area have goats and sheep with Q fever. 95 people are sick, but the diagnosis has been different for many people. There are several aspects of Q fever that make it challenging for healthcare providers to diagnose and treat. The symptoms may vary from patient to patient and can be difficult to distinguish from other diseases. The symptoms usually develop within 2 to 3 weeks of exposure, although as many as half of humans exposed to Q fever do not show symptoms. An early diagnosis of Q fever must be made solely on a doctor's suspicion. Since Q fever symptoms are similar to many other illnesses, diagnosing Q fever can be challenging and may be missed. Lab tests often appear negative in the first 7 to 10 days of illness. Therefore, health providers must use their judgment to treat patients based on suspicion alone. Healthcare providers may find important information in the patient's history and physical examination, which may aid in the diagnosis information, such as recent travel to a rural or agricultural community where infected livestock may be present. It's helpful in making a diagnosis. Treatment is most effective if started within the first 3 days. Can you imagine that? That's crazy. Therefore, doctors should never delay treatment until lab tests confirm Q fever.
It's like with rabies, where once you start seeing symptoms, it's too late.
Yeah.
Yep. It is a bitch. You learn that most of the people who are sick are men aged 40 to 60 years, and that pneumonia was the most common early diagnosis. You also learn that only 3.2% of the patients were working in agriculture and 0.5% in the meat processing industry. Next, you look at where the goat farms were with the abortion storms are located and where the people who got sick live. You notice that many of the sick live within 5 kilometers of an infected farm, but that's still a good distance away. Since you know that Q fever can be spread by wind, you look at the number of people who got sick each week and overlay the number of days with strong wind that week. Looking at the data, you notice that during the week where there was a large abortion storm, there were also strong winds. In the 2 to 3 weeks that followed, there was a large increase in the number of people getting sick. Here is the times of everything. It is small, I apologize. Formatting is hard. It is an inopportune shape for a graph. Let me know when you guys are ready to move on. I'll stay on this however long as you need.
Interesting.
Huh.
It does say that people start getting symptoms like 7 or 10 days afterwards, so it kind of makes sense, like, after there was extremely, like, strong wind, after, like, the goats were infected, there's, like, suddenly a large outbreak.
Any other thoughts?
Definitely looks like it matches up.
Okay.
I see. Okay.
Based on the data, what is the greatest risk factor for developing Q fever? Coming into contact with someone who works on the goat farm, or strength and direction of winds after abortion storms?
I'm gonna not include the word abortion in the
Yeah.
poll just in case.
That is fair.
I am gonna say B, because there was only a small percentage of people who were working like the agricultural like farms and stuff, who were working like in agriculture and then got infected.
Yeah, because it's within the week of the 18th.
Yeah.
There was a good amount. There was a large number on that day of sick people. But then winds. Hold on, give me a second. But then it says strong winds did pick up the week after that one, and it looks like as if on the scale it started picking up.
Yeah, so we're all going with B.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay. Congratulations, you're correct. The greatest risk factor for developing Q fever was the strength of the wind. Now that you know what's causing the outbreak, how can you help prevent this? As lead detective on this case, you also need to think about health education and ways to educate the public about Q fever. This is how you prevent it from happening in the future. It's your job to create strategies for educating the public and trying to change health behaviors to prevent a new outbreak. You recommend and help the government create a mass education program complete with materials and targeted to the public, veterinarians, physicians, and the news media. To help stop the spread of Q fever, you recommend to the government various veterinary measures, including new hygiene procedures, limiting the movement of goats and sheep, placing a temporary ban on breeding. Based on your research, you believe that these measures will control the outbreak. However, the federal government decides to make a controversial decision to slaughter more than 5,000 dairy goats on 55 of the country's nearly 400 farms to prevent this disease from spreading further.
Dang, that's a lot of goats.
Oh my goodness.
Congratulations, you've solved all of my outbreaks. You have solved all of my riddles. You are all incredibly smart and incredibly cool and snazzy and great epidemiologists. What do you have to say for yourself?
That was interesting. I think it's so cool learning about stuff like this.
That was really fun. I think I learned a lot more about what could cause specific diseases now. Yeah, that also makes me paranoid about knowing if someone has
no!
I've never eaten spinach again in my life.
Well, like, the thing is, right? I did this. I was in Science Olympiad, and this was like my subject in Science Olympiad. And for a very long time, I just refused to go to buffets after it. I still refuse to go on cruises.
Oh yeah, same here.
I low-key don't want to like touch anyone's hand now. I'm just gonna be like, did you wash your hands?
Did you wash your hands? This is also why you can't trust eating other people's food.
Yeah, dude, I'm not like a hypochondriac or whatever, but like ever since COVID, I like wear a mask everywhere I go outside.
No, that's so real.
And then like whenever people around me are like like really wet coughs, I'm like, I'm glad I'm wearing my mask.
I'm so glad I can see my family washing their hands every day when they're cooking. I feel so grateful now.
You're not being exposed to E. coli and shitty spinach. Well, that's the thing. No matter if you think about this, like the victims of all of these cases were just regular people just living their lives.
Yeah.
Like you will never know when there's like a bag of fucking carrots that have a recall on them when you're just at the store, right? Because normally recalls happen after you already have the food. So just like pay attention. Pay attention, basically.
Dude, yeah.
The FDA. Listen to the CDC, please. They're just trying to do their jobs.
It reminds me of that one time there was like a recall on strawberries because like something happened with the water and then like it made them unsafe to eat. So my mom had to throw out the strawberries because she got paranoid. And I'm so glad she did now.
Yeah, this is like kind of a little bit relevant to me because like I got a bacteria from something that like reminded me of a lot of these. But I think you can get it from contaminated water, but I think I caught it from someone else who had it because we had a roommate who was very sick with something for like the entire time we knew her. So.
Oh no!
It's been such a nightmare for me too. It like permanently screwed up my stomach.
Oh god! I'm so sorry, Feathers.
I remember my sister. She got COVID from somewhere, and we tried our best staying away from her. But since we live in the same house as her, it was almost near impossible. I ended up catching it as well. My mom and dad didn't because they had already gotten vaccinated, but both me and my sister didn't.
The thing about
I ended up getting it.
Airborne diseases, especially, are so tricky. Because, like, if you live in that same house with someone, you can try and quarantine them. Like, you can put them in a room and be like, okay, we're not letting you into any of the public spaces, whatever. But what about, like, the AC unit?
Yeah, that's the issue.
So, homes have circulation. It's really hard, but all we can do to prevent ourselves from getting like most diseases is literally just washing our hands.
Yeah.
Please wash your hands, especially when you're around children. Don't touch your face when you're around children. You have no idea what children are carrying. It's bad.
Also, it's like sometimes kids do end up like having worse symptoms because from experience, when I got COVID, I had worse symptoms than my sister. I could not eat. I was throwing up everything I was eating, and it was horrible.
But yeah, thank you guys for playing. I'm glad you had fun and you learned things.
Yeah.
It's fun. I was playing this with like Boba and Mary a few nights ago, and I was like,
yeah, I get like the same feeling participating in this that I do when I'm playing like Plague Inc., where it's like, dang, this is like really bad. This is like really scary.
We should do like a murder mystery or something, or like crime solving one next time.
Ooh.
I mean, this one kind of feels like that, right? It's kind of like a murder mystery, but it's like a disease instead of a culprit.
Yeah, we should do more of these. These are really fun.
Yeah.
All right. Any last words from everyone before we go?
Wash your hands.
Wash your hands.
Oh God! Just wash them.
You guys are never gonna like think after like pooping or peeing from now on. You're gonna be like, nope, I can't not.
I'm about to go do it right now after the stream ends.
I'm not risking myself getting sick again.
Yes, wash your hands. Does anyone have anything to promote before we leave?
No.
Guys, you guys should subscribe to PI, like right now.
Yeah, you should subscribe to PI if you want more sillies like this. Everyone here is incredibly silly, and they all put up with my silly little antics when I was like, hey guys, I want to play a game, but also I'm really bad at explaining what exactly we're going to be doing.
Yeah, we're on a small temporary hiatus right now. So the only streams for the time being are from guest hosts, but we'll definitely be having more in the future.
Yeah.
So yeah, subscribe and hit the bell button if so you don't miss our next stream.
Thank you for watching our Let's Play.
Alright, but yeah, that's gonna be it for today. Thank you guys very much for watching. Give us a like, leave a comment after the video's up, all that good stuff. But yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye!
Thank you for
Bye!
Wash your hands!
Wash your hands!
Ha ha ha.